So, here's a story you probably haven't heard, but it's absolutely real, and it's weird as hell. Let's talk about Robert Todd Lincoln, the only one of Abe Lincoln's kids to make it to adulthood. Now, you'd think being the son of Abraham Lincoln would be enough for one lifetime, right? Nope. Robert's life was like a mashup of a tragic biopic, a political thriller, and Final Destination. He wasn't just the son of a president, he somehow ended up at 3 separate presidential assassinations. Like, in the room. And that's not even the freakiest part. All right, rewind. Robert was born in 1843, Springfield, Illinois. Big forehead, lots of pressure. First son of Abraham and Mary Todd Lincoln. And honestly, life in the Lincoln household was intense. His dad was kind of busy with, preserving the Union and being emotionally distant. So Robert grows up super smart, super serious, goes to Harvard, gets into law. The whole respectable 1800s LinkedIn profile. And while his dad's dealing with the Civil War, Robert is just trying to survive being a Lincoln. Now, let's get to the wild part. Robert's waiting for a train in Jersey City. It's packed, loud, total 19th century chaos, steam everywhere, no OSHA. He gets bumped, slips between the train and the platform, like falls into the gap, and nearly gets dragged under the wheels. And then, bam, a hand grabs him, yanks him back to safety. The guy who saved him? Edwin Booth, one of the most famous actors of the time. Total stage legend. Big deal. And also, the older brother of John Wilkes Booth. The guy who would shoot Abraham Lincoln in the head just 2 years later. So yeah, Robert Todd Lincoln was saved by the brother of his dad's future assassin. Neither of them knew it at the time. Robert thanked him. Edwin found out later and was like, well, that's awkward. He kept Robert's thank you letter for the rest of his life. Fast forward. April 14th, 1865, Ford's Theater. Lincoln's enjoying a show. Booth sneaks in, fires a pistol behind his head, jumps off the balcony like a low-budget Batman, and somehow escapes. Robert wasn't at the theater that night. He was resting back at the White House. But when he heard, he rushed to the Peterson House, across the street from Ford's Theater. And there, he stood by his father's bed, as Abraham Lincoln died the next morning. He was 21 years old. That's a heavy way to start your adult life. But history wasn't done with him. Now it's 1881. Robert's in his late 30s, and he's Secretary of War under President James A. Garfield. One day, Garfield's at a D.C. train station. Robert's there too. And boom. A dude named Charles Guiteau shows up and shoots Garfield twice. Total panic. Robert rushes in to help. Deja vu. Garfield doesn't die right away. But after 2 months of infection and agony, he's gone. That's 2 presidents down, 2 assassinations, and Robert, front row again. Now, if you're Robert, you're probably starting to feel a little cursed. But wait, we've got one more. 1901, Buffalo, New York, Pan American Exposition. Robert's there as a guest of honor. President William McKinley is also there, shaking hands, being presidential. And suddenly, Leon Salgos steps forward with a revolver hidden under a fake bandage and shoots McKinley twice. Crowd loses it. McKinley drops. And guess who's standing nearby again? Robert Todd Lincoln. That's 3 presidential shootings, all on his watch. At this point, he's not just unlucky. He's a walking presidential event hazard. After that, Robert's like, "Yeah, I'm good." He stops attending White House events altogether. Later, he even jokes, "There is a certain fatality about presidential functions when I am present." Dude was self-aware, at least. But don't get it twisted. Robert wasn't just bad luck in a suit. He lived a full life. He served as minister to the UK. He ran the Pullman Palace Car Company. He was a top-tier lawyer and respected businessman. He just had cosmic-level bad timing. He died in 1926 at the age of 82, and he's buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Probably the safest place for a guy like him. So let's recap. He was saved by Edwin Booth, whose brother killed his dad. He stood beside Lincoln as he died, then Garfield, then McKinley. He didn't want the spotlight, but history dragged him in anyway. Robert Todd Lincoln. Not cursed, not haunted, just permanently stuck in the splash zone of American history.